away from fossil fuels that the government is prepared to contemplate? That's one question that's got to be answered perhaps in the next 24 hours. Will this be seen by the world as undercutting our 2050 commitment, especially as the Biden administration is doing precisely the opposite from what we're contemplating? It's identifying subsidies to the fossil fuel sector and cutting them out as a matter of policy. The second big question is, how do our partners in the global community regard our stubborn failure to set more ambitious targets for 2030? Given that Rio can make a commitment on the front pages today to 50% reductions in emissions by 2050, and the state governments, all state governments in Australia, can make that commitment, deeply involved as they are in energy policy, considering that they consider that that is a reasonable commitment. And given as well that our partners are committed to 50% reductions by 2030, I see a number of accelerants at work here, driving a shift where a Prime Minister who only 4 years ago held a lump of coal in the Parliament is now making a commitment that he excoriated 3 years ago in a federal election about where we will be in 2050. It's coming out of the courts. Around the corner from my office in Sydney, a court case is being played out today in which the government is appealing against a decision of a judge that says a government minister has a duty of care, quote, duty of care, unquote, to future generations. This is the Sharma case, brought to the courts by lawyers representing children, saying that in approving coal mine, the federal minister, was being negligent in respect of the duty of care she should be extending to future generations. Australia, in fact, has got the second most litigious jurisdiction on climate, more climate litigation than all but one other country in the world. And it's remarkable given that there is no assumption in the Australian Constitution about human rights, no explicit assumption about human rights. Even without that rights basis for legal action, we are seeing an enormous amount of litigation generated over climate. Any boardroom has got to take that into account. So it's one of the reasons that the second factor I'm identifying, the second accelerant, the shift in corporate opinion, is so decisive. So decisive, in fact, that our Treasurer on September 24 acknowledged it by ranking it with the big market adjustment made in the global financial crisis about the